Okay, let's dig into this. If you're over 60, or maybe helping someone who is, you probably know that feeling, right? That little bit of tightness, maybe a flicker of doubt when you think about a longer walk or, chasing the grandkids around. A lot of that feeling can tie back to this quiet thing happening inside. Atherosclerosis. Basically, plaque building up, hardening the arteries.
Yeah, and what's really compelling about the research we looked at is the core idea here. We're not just talking managing it or slowing it down. Our deep dive today is suggesting you can actually gently, naturally start to clear some of that buildup, even decades of it, all through simple, consistent movement. It's kind of a quiet revolution for aging well.
Right. And that's our mission today, isn't it?
Yeah.
To pull out the key insights for you. We've synthesized findings from, top-tier clinical research, think Harvard, CDC data, but also blended it with traditional wisdom, specifically Vietnamese Dong Nguai and the practices like Qigong, the aim. A clear, practical plan tailored for different ages, focused on reversing that artery hardening.
And it needs a plan because, honestly, atherosclerosis is often called a silent thief for a reason. Our sources confirm it affects a huge number, over 60% of seniors. It can turn simple things, like gardening or a nice walk, into really tiring tasks. And the American Heart Association is clear. This plaque buildup seriously bumps up the risk for heart attacks or strokes, maybe by as much as 50%.
That sounds pretty definitive, almost like destiny.
Yeah.
But you said reversal. Hang on. Reversal. I mean, that almost sounds too good to be true if you've been living with this possibility for years.
It does sound remarkable, but there's solid science here. Harvard research, for instance, shows that pretty aggressive lifestyle changes, especially exercise, can actually lead to plaque regression. We're talking 10 to 20% reduction in just a few months.
Okay, wow. So how? How does just moving your body physically start to undo plaque that's already hardened in there?
Yeah, it's not magic, it's physiology. Two main things happening. First, improving what's called endothelial function via nitric oxide. Nitric oxide. Think of it as a natural signal molecule. It tells the lining of your blood vessels, the endothelium, to relax.
That endothelium, that's the super thin, crucial inner layer of the arteries, right?
Exactly. And simple aerobic exercise, even just a brisk walk, significantly boosts your body's production of nitric oxide. This helps the vessels widen, allows blood to flow more smoothly. We're talking a measurable 30% improvement in flow. And crucially, it makes that lining less sticky, so it's harder for new plaque to grab a hold.
Okay. So wider pipes, less sticky walls. Makes sense. And the second mechanism, you said it deals with the existing stuff.
Precisely. That's reverse cholesterol transport. We all hear about LDL, the bad cholesterol that makes up the plaque. Well, exercise actually encourages HDL, the good cholesterol, to work better. HDL acts like a scavenger truck. It picks up excess LDL cholesterol from the artery walls and carries it back to the liver to be processed and removed. This literally reduces the volume of existing plaque. And this isn't just theory. Recent reviews, like one in Biomedicines from 2024, confirm this process.
And this ties into other benefits too, doesn't it? Because plaque seems to love chaos, like high blood pressure and inflammation.
It absolutely does. Think of inflammation and high pressure as fuel for the plaque fire. So regular activity delivers these other crucial wins. Lower blood pressure, often by 5 to 10 points, which is significant, and much better blood sugar control. Both of these really slash that chronic inflammation that helps plaque thrive.
It feels particularly important to emphasize movement for seniors. Why does this age group seem to get hit by this double whammy of aging and plaque?
It's really that combination of aging and inactivity creating a sort of stagnation. The CDC points out that metabolism naturally slows down as we age. Muscle mass, which is key for processing sugars and fats effectively, tends to drop maybe 3 to 5% each year after 60. That slowdown creates an environment where plaque can build up more easily. But movement flips that script. It starts to regenerate function.
Okay, so we've got the hard science.
Yeah.
Now let's shift gears a bit towards the Eastern wisdom component. Our sources really emphasize integrating Vietnamese traditional medicine, Dong Nguai, and practices like Qigong. For someone listening, the question might be, how does this idea of nourishing Qi, this vital energy flow, actually help my physical arteries?
That's a great question because it bridges the mind-body connection beautifully. In Dong Nguai, Qi isn't some vague mystical thing. It's about vitality, flow, the body's fundamental energy. Stagnation or blockage of that flow is often seen in Eastern medicine as a root cause of illness, including heart issues. So when we do practices like Qigong or Baduanjin, the 8 brocade sequence, the aim is to harmonize the body's energy systems, particularly the heart meridian.
And what does harmonizing translate to, clinically speaking? How does that show up?
It shows up as significant stress reduction. These mindful movements, the deep breathing, they physically lower stress hormones like cortisol. And cortisol is a major driver of inflammation and plaque growth. Studies looking at traditional Chinese medicine, which shares principles with Dongwai, show that regularly practicing these kinds of exercises can lead to really substantial drops, 20 to 30% in overall cardiovascular disease risk.
So it's not just about the mechanics of pumping blood harder, it's also about calming the internal stress response that chemically contributes to the plaque problem in the first place.
Exactly that. The link between mental calm and vascular health is becoming much clearer in Western science too. There was a meta-analysis looking at 23 different trials confirming that these traditional Chinese exercises, similar to the Vietnamese ones, measurably help lower triglycerides and cholesterol, directly aiding reversal. And if you want a big picture proof point, look at the Lifestyle Heart trial. It showed that a year of moderate exercise combined with diet and stress management actually reversed coronary lesions in 82% of participants. The body has an incredible capacity to heal.
Wow, 82%. That really drives home the point that our biology isn't necessarily destiny. Okay, so for you listening, the challenge often becomes practical, right? Joints might ache, energy isn't what it was. Generic advice like just exercise more can feel overwhelming, maybe even risky, especially when we know frailty increases with age. The NIA says about 20% per decade. So customization seems key.
Oh, absolutely crucial. Generic advice can lead to injury or just feeling defeated. But personalized routines, they build confidence and deliver results. They can cut fall risks by 30%. They boost heart efficiency, what scientists call VO2 max, how well your body uses oxygen by 15 to 25%. That's huge. So we've adapted the standard CDC guidelines, the 150 minutes of moderate aerobic activity plus 2 strength days a week. We've broken that down into 3 tailored blueprints based on age and woven in that Dongwai principle of Dong Sin nourishing life.
Okay, let's break down that blueprint, starting with ages 60 to 69. What's the focus here? It sounds like building endurance, maybe slowing down that initial plaque acceleration.
Exactly. It's about consistency with a clear goal. So for activities, think a 30-minute brisk walk, maybe 3 times a week. Aim for around 8,000 steps on those days. Why 8,000? Research suggests that's a kind of threshold where you start seeing measurable drops in LDL cholesterol, maybe 5 to 10% is targeted. For strength, something simple like seated leg lifts with light ankle weights twice a week. This can boost quad strength by about 20%, which really helps with stability.
And bringing in the Qigong element.
Yeah, maybe 10 minutes daily of a simple Qigong form like lifting the sky. It's a gentle, flowing movement. Studies show it can help lower blood pressure by around 8 millimole Hg. You'd feel that as less tension. Important safety check here. Try to keep your heart rate under 120 beats to a minute during the aerobic parts. Keep it moderate.
Okay, moving on to ages 70 to 79. Here, muscle loss sarcopenia can be more pronounced, maybe 10-15% more impact. So balance and protecting joints become even more critical.
Definitely. The focus shifts to supporting mobility safely. Think about 20 minutes of water aerobics. The water's buoyancy takes the pressure off joints, making movement easier, but it's still great for boosting HDL, that good cholesterol, by about 15%. Stability is paramount, so chair yoga is fantastic. Holding poses like a modified tree pose can improve balance by 25%. Using light dumbbells, maybe 2 to 5 pounds, for gentle strength work.
And the Eastern practice recommendation here.
We suggest incorporating the daily 15-minute Bedouin sequence, the 8 brocades. It's a classic Qigong form, very flowing, involves gentle stretches. TCM trials link regular practice to an 18% drop in key inflammation markers. The plaque reversal goal here is achieved through that sustained, gentle flow. Moderated studies in this age group show around a 10% reduction in plaque volume over 6 months with consistent, suitable effort.
Right. And finally, for those 80 and above, the goal shifts again more towards gentle restoration, maintaining function, managing frailty.
Exactly. Start small, focus on what feels good and is functional, maybe 10 minutes of seated marching, just lifting your feet while sitting. It sounds simple, but it enhances that endothelial repair. Or gentle wall push-ups to maintain some upper body strength without stressing shoulders. The real core here might be diaphragmatic Qigong breathing. It's incredibly accessible, just deep, mindful belly breathing. This alone is shown to lower cortisol levels by 20%, which, as we said, directly helps the reversal process by reducing stress and inflammation.
And what's a tangible benefit? Even these very gentle approaches make a difference.
A huge difference. Data from the NHS suggests that even this level of gentle, consistent activity can cut cardiovascular events like heart attacks or strokes by 23% in this age group. The key is adaptation. Use chairs, use walls for support. Start with just 10 minutes. It's about restoration and consistency, not intensity.
These plans really make it feel possible, turning scary statistics into something you can actually do. And our sources highlighted transformation stories, which really drive the point home. They noted something like 70% of seniors who stick with a tailored plan report significant symptom relief, 20 to 40% within the first year.
Yeah, the stories make it real. Let's share a couple. There was Mrs. Lan, 68, from Hanoi. She'd had a very sedentary job for decades. Started with gentle Qigong flows. Her follow-up ultrasounds actually showed her plaque scores went down by 15%. She said her heart sings now. What a great way to put it.
That's wonderful. We also saw Evelyn, 67, an American retiree. She followed the 60-69 plan, Brisk walks, Qigong, and she experienced an 8% reduction in plaque, which lines up perfectly with those clinical trial results we mentioned.
And Robert, 74. He was really struggling with angina, chest pain. He started doing chair yoga and the Badwanjan sequence. His doctor tracked his coronary artery calcium score, the CAC score, which directly measures hardened plaque. It dropped by 15%. He got back to playing golf, said he felt 20 years younger.
Amazing. And maybe the most striking, Mr. Min, 72. He was recovering from a stroke, had a 70% blockage found. His team created a very customized, gentle, plan-seated movements, lots of diaphragmatic breathing. Within months, scans showed a 12% reduction in that plaque. He's now apparently dancing at family weddings again. Talk about reclaiming independence.
It really echoes findings from trials like Dean Ornish's, showing lifestyle changes, including exercise and mindfulness, could regress lesions by about 4% per year.
These stories really highlight the true reward, don't they? It's not just numbers on a scan. It's about feeling free, feeling less afraid, being able to jump back into life.
Exactly. So, pulling it all together, what's the core message for you listening?
It seems to be that aging well isn't necessarily about slowing down to a halt. It's maybe more about flowing deeper, building stronger roots, you could say. Consistent tailored exercise doesn't just hold the line, it can actually regenerate. The data suggests it can cut serious heart risks by potentially 41%, simply through improved fitness. Okay, so before we wrap up with a final thought, let's cover the crucial next steps if this resonates with you.
Right. 3 key things. Number 1, absolutely non-negotiable. Safety first. Talk to your doctor before starting any new exercise routine, especially if you have existing conditions like diabetes, high blood pressure, or if you're on heart medications. Please, get that clearance first.
Couldn't agree more. Second, start small. Really small if needed. Focus on just being consistent, not on intensity right away. Maybe try that seated march we talked about for just 5 minutes today. Build from there. Remember the NIA's program showing elders getting 30% stronger in 12 weeks with gradual effort. It works. Start where you are.
And third, remember the nutrition tie-in. Movement is fantastic, but it works best with good fuel. Think about incorporating foods rich in omega-3s like you find in a Mediterranean-style diet. That approach also has independent evidence for helping reverse carotid plaque. They work together.
Okay, so we've spent this time focused on the physical side of reversing atherosclerosis, plaque scores, blood flow, endothelial function. But those stories, Mrs. Lan, Robert, Mr. Min, they point to something deeper, don't they? A return of confidence, of joy, of independence. So here's the thought to leave you with. If tailored movement is proven to regenerate physical tissue, to literally restore vitality to our arteries, how much mental and emotional potential are we losing when we let stagnation take hold? And what other conditions beyond the physical plaque might consistent tailored flow help us reverse or heal?
That's a powerful question. Definitely something worth thinking about until our next deep dive.